Today on Rock the Park,
So untouched, so remote.
It's pretty incredible.
we're searching for signs of ancient civilizations.
Evidence dates them back to about a little over 10,000 years ago.
Oh wow, that's really tucked in there.
Oh,
And we're exploring wilderness. What it is,
You're out in the middle of what feels like nowhere.
oh, this is perfect.
and what it means to us personally.
Wilderness is a gateway into a deeper understanding of myself.
We're in one of Utah's most spectacular landscapes, Canyonlands National Park.
Let's do it. Let's go.
And it all starts right now.
I'm Jack Steward.
This is the real deal.
And I'm Colton Smith.
These are mountains!
We've been buddies for years, always in search of the next adventure.
Dude, what was that?
We share a passion for our national parks and other wild places around the world.
My God.
Heading off the beaten path, pushing our limits, and experiencing nature's best-kept secrets.
It's how we rock the park.
It's just so incredibly beautiful.
We're in Canyonlands National Park just before dawn.
We're headed up to Mesa Arch to check out the sunrise.
People come from all over the world to catch the sunrise and explore this vast wilderness of canyons and high desert.
Wilderness means different things to different people. For some, it's getting away from it all, getting in touch with nature. For others, it's learning something new, being forced outside one's comfort zone. On this trip, Jack and I will encounter the 5 qualities of wilderness and explore what wilderness means to us individually.
To be sitting right here at Mesa Arch as the sun is coming up is just amazing.
One thing that I'm learning about our national parks is no matter how popular a location can be, you can still find that sense of solitude.
People come to Canyonlands for just that kind of peace. Tucked in the southeastern corner of Utah, it's 337,000 acres of jaw-dropping canyons, buttes, rivers, and arches.
Pretty incredible.
The Mesa Arch spans 50 feet across a 500-foot vertical cliff. It's called a pothole arch because it was formed by surface water that pooled behind it, eroding it into what we see today.
This is one of the most iconic sunrise locations, not just in Canyonlands, but the entire national park system, and a must if you're here.
The sun is up, we're starting to feel that heat, and I'm starting to see more of Canyonlands. I think it's time that we get out of here and start to explore more of this park.
Canyonlands is divided into 4 districts. The maze is wild and remote and the least accessible. The Needles gets its name from the colorful spires that dominate the skyline. The Rivers refers to the Green and Colorado rivers that carved out the canyons. And Island in the Sky is the mesa where we're starting our trip and looking for signs of ancient civilizations.
So, now that the sun is up, we're gonna go check out Aztec Butte, which has some structures of the ancient Puebloan people who used to live in this area.
Each district in Canyonlands has a different, really intricate and amazing human history.
And we're not just talking about a few things here or there, we've got the actual structures and signs of their civilization.
And on top of all that, this is not exactly a forgiving landscape. I mean, today it's probably gonna get to be about 103, 105 degrees. Why here? What was it about this landscape that just said, come?
So the first evidence that we have of people coming through this area dates them back to about a little over 10,000 years ago. Now these people were hunters and gatherers, which means they were nomads. They just came through here, gathered any resources, hunted food, and moved on.
But eventually, these nomadic peoples decided to actually put down some roots, and they left some very hard evidence of their stay here.
This is Aztec Butte, where our trail veers upward and we're climbing more than 100 feet up slippery sandstone.
Oh man, here it is. Wow.
Oh wow, that's really tucked in there.
Oh. So what we're looking at here are a couple of granaries, which is basically where the ancient Puebloans would store their supplies.
These are basically like your pantries at home. They would seal away their water, their corn, but in this harsh environment, drought was a very, very real possibility. So having these was really a necessity to live out here.
Something that's pretty common to this region of the country is that you will see these types of dwellings and structures built under a natural alcove like this. It provides a roof so that they're out of the elements, and I have to imagine that's why they're still intact. Because think about it, these things are built out of clay, rocks, a little bit of wood. They didn't necessarily have a ton of materials to work with, but these structures were built to last.
Because these structures are so incredibly old, we're not gonna be going inside of them. We're not even gonna be putting our heads through the windows. We do not want to risk damaging them in any way.
Canyonlands National Park preserves one of the last relatively undisturbed regions of the Colorado Plateau.
There is not a single place in this park where you cannot see the effect that erosion has had over millions and millions of years on all of this sedimentary rock.
Both the Green and Colorado rivers have carved away many layers of rock, and heavy rains have sculpted the cliffs and spires.
We are in the high desert right now. The elevations here in the park range from 3,700 feet to about 7,200 feet above sea level. Because of that, they experience pretty hot summers and cold winters. And because of the harsh extremes, smaller rodents seem to have the advantage. The kangaroo rat can survive without ever drinking water, getting the moisture it needs from the seeds it eats. We're on our way to the southernmost edge of the high mesa, where you can get a bird's eye view of the various layers of rock carved away over the years. This is called the Grand View Overlook, but at 6,000 feet in elevation, it's dangerous to get too close to the edge. A park ranger demonstrates a safe way to get a better view of the drop-off. That is a long way down.
Yes, it is. It really gives you that picture of an island in the sky because it just drops straight off. Man, is it beautiful.
Yeah, you can see forever up here.
On a clear day, you can see 100 miles in any direction, but we're specifically interested in what lies just 14 miles south of us.
So if you look out that way, that's the Needles.
The Needles is a landscape of colorful spires of cedar sandstone.
That's where we're gonna be headed tomorrow. It's gonna be brutal. The trail is almost non-existent at points.
Have to make sure that you don't take a wrong turn, especially in a landscape like this. Oh my gosh. We're in Utah, where we're about to explore the meaning of wilderness. We are in the Needles district of Canyonlands National Park, about to head out into the backcountry, but this time it's gonna be a little different for us.
The only destination we have is our camp, and we're gonna go out and kind of see what this landscape is all about and define what wilderness means to us individually. You ready to head out?
Into the wilderness.
Oh, baby, that's a lot of water. Part of our responsibility when we go into the wilderness is self-reliance. It's making sure you have everything that you need to survive without relying on other people to come and rescue you. That means water, it means food, first aid, all the stuff that you really need to survive.
We're packing in 2 gallons of water each because the temperatures could hit 100 degrees. And while there are springs scattered about Canyonlands, finding them is tricky at best. And what does exist should be left for the wildlife.
Let's do it, let's go.
It's a 4.5 mile hike to our campsite, and we're leaving early in the morning to avoid the hottest part of the day.
Ooh. It's this spot right here we can really get a sense of why this district is called the Needles. You've got all these sandstone monoliths just piercing up into the sky. It is just so unique and dynamic.
Geologists say the spires actually started as huge blocks of stone, and that over the years, water eventually eroded them into these pillars.
Out in the middle of what feels like nowhere.
I think one of the most basic yet important characteristic of wilderness is this. A landscape that is natural, basically untouched by human beings.
It's perfect and only shaped by the weather, by erosion, and the actual forces of nature carving and building out this landscape.
The Needles is a rugged 535 square mile backcountry hiking challenge. There are no roads that go across it.
If you were to have roads through this part of the park, even the fumes coming off of those cars are impacting maybe the plants, the inhabitants that are here, and that takes away from its natural state.
You said it, man.
It has gotten hot and the sun is just beating down on us. One of the things about being in the desert is even though it's really hot, you want to be covered up. Get some shade on your face, have some long sleeves, long pants, because man, the sun is brutal.
Millions of years of wind, water, and gravity have left these cool little joints, which are narrow slots through the sandstone. We can't help setting our packs down and trying to squeeze through a few.
Joints are caused when stresses on the rock cause a fracture. Water, debris, and sediment erode the fracture enough to hike through.
This is amazing. I didn't think I was gonna fit.
Sometimes something other than nature leaves its mark, and that's not what you want to see.
So this is an example of leaving your mark on the environment out here.
When you do that, you're leaving a scar on the beauty that's all around us.
And that brings you out of your wilderness experience.
You might be writing over a petroglyph that was written 2,000 years ago, or a rock that's been around for 500 million years.
And it's just about education. Now that you know not to do it.
I think it's down, right?
Yeah. Dropping down into it a little bit. Yeah.
It's a 250-foot drop into Elephant Canyon to get to our campsite on the other side.
The trail is almost non-existent at points. There are cairns every now and then, but it's really up to you, the individual, to make sure that you're still on the path.
You have to make sure that you don't take a wrong turn, especially in a landscape like this. Oh my gosh.
A wrong turn would not be good, and it's easy to do because there are a lot of different slots, crevices, places that you could end up out here.
But that's why we love it out here. It's that element of self-reliance.
So this is really cool. We've been seeing all of this cryptobiotic soil as we've been hiking to camp.
Cryptobiotic soil is actually a type of crust that's made up of bacteria, lichens, and moss. It's hugely important in preserving plant life on the Colorado Plateau.
It keeps all of this sand right here in place. Without this black cryptobiotic soil, all these plants would be long gone. It sticks them here, and then it also helps them absorb food, nutrients, and water. It's incredibly important to keep it preserved. So I certainly want to do my part and not step on any of this soil.
So we just crossed Elephant Canyon and we're making our way up now. And I think we're about 1.5 miles from our camp. All right, man, let's get set up.
Yes, indeed.
Whew, feels good to be here. Used to be a big fan of cowboy camping right under the stars until I heard about a dozen stories of rattlesnakes curling up in people's sleeping bags with them. And that's when I decided, you know what? It's time to get a little tent.
And wouldn't you know it, rattlesnakes are one of the creatures that thrive out here. But that won't stop us from doing what we came to do. We're splitting up and heading out for some one-on-one with nature. We're in Utah's Canyonlands National Park, taking time to explore and reflect on what wilderness means to us.
I'm gonna take off, find a place to kind of post up, do some writing.
Cool.
I'll be out for a few hours.
I'm gonna venture that way.
I'll be back in plenty of time for sunset. We can have some dinner and just chill out.
All right, enjoy.
All right, you too, man. We live in an incredibly noisy world, one that rewards constant motion and really embraces chaos. Even out here in nature, we have the same tendencies to want to do more, see more, tackle the next big challenge. Well, the experience of wilderness that I've discovered strips all of that away. And my goal is to simply exist, to observe the landscape and take in the inspiration and really dwell in self-reflection. So this is looking pretty good to me. I think I can scramble up these rocks, find a little spot to set up my day camp. Should be pretty cool. That's good. I just want to sink into the landscape that I'm in. The moon, which is just hovering right above me. The needles, the open prairie, the sandstone all around me that come together, that are all connected. I think that self-reflection is one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself. So about 3 years ago, I was feeling lost. I just got this idea that I needed to go out into nature. I had all these questions. And I just took in the landscape around me. I wrote down what I was seeing and what I was feeling. And by the end of that experience, I came away with a sense of who I am.
I gravitate towards places like Canyonlands because it allows you to start thinking and caring about things so much bigger than just you. It turns into a feeling of empowerment, a feeling that says to you, this world is so big, don't sweat the small stuff. Instead, think about how you can make this world a better place.
So here we go. This is how it works. A lot of times as a guy, you feel like you can't or you shouldn't let people know how you feel about them. I instantly think of Colton. Colton is the type of friend that really adds to my life. But I've never exactly told him how much I appreciate him. I've never told him how much he's impacted my life and how much he means to me. I feel like I need to do that.
When I come to a place like Canyonlands, I find this solitude, I find this peace, and I learn a little bit more about my strengths, about my weaknesses, who I want to be in the future. Life is like a river with twists and curves, and these are great places to reflect on that.
Spending time alone in the wilderness is one of the best ways to experience it. But distant thunder and a setting sun in Canyonlands National Park means it's time to rendezvous back at camp.
How amazing is this about to be?
Oh, so good.
Gosh, are you kidding me right now?
The sun's not even like down near the horizon and it's already just that perfect glow.
It's just fantastic.
What did you end up doing?
Climbed around and then just sat down, took out the binoculars, scanned and soaked. Yeah. What about you?
It was interesting. With all the beauty that was around, I just couldn't get my eyes off of the moon.
We don't know why we gravitate towards some things. We may never, you can come out here time and time again. Have no idea what it is that you're truly looking for, and yet you find it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never know where that train of thought is gonna take you. Which, by the way, man, I was thinking about this and, you and I have been buddies for about 20 years at this point. I realized that I've never told you how much you mean to me. I think as guys, we always it's always assumed, but yeah, I just wanted you to know that, man.
Oh, I love you, man. I mean, I couldn't do this thing without you. Thankful is truly not a big enough word. For our friendship, for these experiences.
We're always in these beautiful places that give us inspiration, but I think the true meaning of life and existence is relationships. Yeah. And the fact that it's not even about the things we've done together, it's the fact that we've done it together. We're not just best friends at this point, we're brothers.
Exactly. I look at the future and I say, what amazing things lie on that horizon.
Wilderness is a gateway into a deeper understanding of myself.
It's powerful. It is every single time, and you're always gonna find something more than you had going in.
They're a place to get back to our roots as human beings, to silence all of the noise, let go of everything else that is just distracting you in your life, and embrace simplicity, embrace that solitude, and be open to whatever sort of perspective or inspiration that it's gonna deliver you.
And remember,
if we can do it, so can you.
So the next chance you get, go out and rock the park. everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave any questions or comments that you have.
And please subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more to come.